Ever wanted to build your own PC but didn't know where to start? Well, the first step is to gather all the necessary components for your build. This includes the motherboard, which is essentially the backbone of your PC. Next up is the CPU, or the brain of your computer, followed by the RAM, which acts as your system's short-term memory. You'll also need storage for your files and applications, a power supply to keep everything running, and a graphics card if you're planning on gaming or doing any heavy graphics work. Lastly, you'll need a case to house all these components. But remember, it's not just about having all the parts. It's also crucial to ensure that everything is compatible. This means checking that your CPU fits your motherboard socket, your RAM is the right type and speed for your motherboard, and your power supply can handle the load of all your components. Once you have all your components ready, it's time to prepare your workspace. A clean and well-lit workspace is key to a successful build. It's not just about tidiness, but also about ensuring you don't lose any small parts and can clearly see what you're doing. Grab yourself a good screwdriver, preferably one with a magnetic tip to hold onto those pesky screws. An anti-static strap is also crucial. It reduces the risk of damaging your components through electrostatic discharge, so strap up, clear out, and let there be light. With your workspace ready, let's move on to the exciting part, the assembly. The assembly process begins with the Central Processing Unit, or CPU. This little chip is the brain of your PC, and it's crucial that you install it correctly. To start, locate the CPU socket on your motherboard. It's typically square and has a small lever on one side. Lift this lever to open up the socket. Now take your CPU and identify the corner with a tiny golden triangle. This triangle should align with a matching mark on the socket. Once aligned, gently place the CPU into the socket, ensuring it sits flush. There should be no force needed, it will simply fall into place. Now lower the lever to lock the CPU in place. You've just installed your CPU, but we're not done just yet. Next, we need to apply thermal paste. This paste improves heat transfer from the CPU to the cooler, helping keep your CPU's temperature down. Apply a small pea-sized dot of thermal paste directly onto the center of the CPU. Now, it's time to install the CPU cooler. Align the cooler with the mounting holes around the CPU socket and secure it with the provided screws. If your cooler has a pre-applied thermal pad, you can skip the thermal paste application. With the CPU and cooler installed, let's move on to mounting the motherboard into the case. First, identify the standoff screws in your case. These small screws will hold your motherboard in place and prevent it from touching the case directly, which could cause a short circuit. Align the screw holes on the motherboard with the standoffs in the case. Once aligned, secure the motherboard with screws. Be careful not to over-tighten, you want it secure but not under strain. Great job, now it's time to power up your build. The power supply is the lifeblood of your PC. It's what gives juice to all your components, so let's get it secured into the case. First, locate the power supply unit or PSU mount, typically found at the bottom or top of your case. Align the PSU with the mount, ensuring the fan faces the vent for proper cooling. Use the provided screws to secure it firmly into place. Next, we'll connect the power supply to the motherboard. Locate your PSU's 24-pin cable and plug it into the corresponding port on your board. It should click into place, letting you know it's securely connected. This cable powers the majority of the motherboard and its features. Your CPU also needs power. It's fed by a separate cable, typically a 4-pin or an 8-pin, depending on your CPU's requirements. Find this cable and plug it into its dedicated spot on the motherboard, usually located near the CPU socket. Now let's talk about powering up your storage devices. Whether you're using a traditional hard drive or a solid-state drive, they'll need a SATA power cable from the PSU. Connect the cable to the corresponding port on your storage device. Don't forget about your graphics card. Some graphics cards need additional power, typically supplied by a 6-pin or 8-pin PCIe power cable from the PSU. If your graphics card has one or more of these ports, make sure they're connected. Once everything's powered up, take a moment to manage your cables. Good cable management can improve airflow, making your system cooler and quieter. Use zip ties or Velcro straps to bundle your cables together and keep them out of the way. Now that we've got the power supply installed and everything connected, it's time to move on to the next crucial component. With the power supply installed, let's move on to the RAM. RAM, or random access memory, is crucial for your PC's performance. It's the short-term memory of your computer, storing information your system is actively using for quick access. Let's install it. First, locate the RAM slots on your motherboard. They're usually long and narrow, and there will be a few of them, depending on your motherboard. Each slot has a small plastic latch on either end. Gently pull them apart to open the slot. Now, take one of your RAM modules. You'll notice a notch along the contact edge. This notch is off-center, designed to fit the slot in a specific way. Align the notch on the module with the notch on the slot. Once aligned, gently but firmly press the RAM module into the slot. The pressure should cause the plastic latches to snap back into place, securing your RAM. With the RAM securely in place, let's install the graphics card. The graphics card is responsible for delivering images to your monitor. It's an essential component for a smooth computing experience, especially for those who plan on gaming or video editing. So, let's install it. Look for the PCIe slot on your motherboard. This is where the graphics card will be seated. Line up the connectors at the bottom of the card with the slot, and gently but firmly press it down. You'll hear a click as the card locks into place. But we're not done yet. Your graphics card needs power too. Locate the power cables from your power supply unit. They should have 6 or 8 pins. Connect these to the corresponding connectors on the top edge of the graphics card, and there you have it. Your graphics card is now installed and ready to go. Remember, if you ever need to remove it, simply unlock the small latch at the end of the PCIe slot. With the graphics card installed, you're almost done. It's time to connect your peripherals. The final step before powering on your PC is connecting the peripherals. These are your tools of interaction with your system, like the monitor, keyboard, and mouse. First, connect your monitor to your graphics card. You'll typically use an HDMI or DisplayPort cable for this. Now, plug in your keyboard and mouse. These usually connect via USB ports. If you have wireless peripherals, don't forget to insert the wireless receiver into a USB port. Also, if you have additional peripherals like a printer, webcam, or speakers, now's the time to plug them in. Remember, each peripheral has a specific port, so make sure to match them correctly. Lastly, before you hit that power button, take a moment to double-check all your connections. It's crucial to ensure everything is properly connected to avoid any potential hiccups. Congratulations! You're now ready to power on your PC for the first time. The moment of truth has arrived. It's time to power on your PC. You've painstakingly put together all the components, connected all the wires, and now it's time to see your creation come to life. To power on your PC, locate the power button on your case. This is typically found on the front or top of your case. Give that button a firm press and watch as your system whirs to life. At this point, you should see the BIOS screen appear on your monitor. This is a positive sign indicating that your PC is functioning correctly. Now you'll need to follow the on-screen instructions to install the operating system of your choice. Whether you're a Windows fan or a Linux enthusiast, the process should be relatively straightforward. But what if the PC doesn't power on? Don't panic. Building a PC can sometimes be a bit of a puzzle. Check your connections, make sure all your components are properly seated, and ensure your power supply is switched on. It's often a simple oversight that can be quickly rectified. Once you've successfully powered on your PC and installed an operating system, you're officially a PC builder. Give yourself a pat on the back. You've accomplished something truly remarkable. Thanks for joining us on this PC building journey. If you have any questions or need further assistance, don't hesitate to leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe for more informative videos. Happy building!